Hey guys, it's Paige. Welcome back to my channel. I just can't believe I am actually sitting here about to film this video. But no, this is not a joke. No, this is not clickbait. After 4.5 years, I have officially decided that I will be leaving London. For some of you, you may have felt this coming. For others, this may be a complete shock to you. But if you've been keeping up with my vlogs, then you know that I've, dropped little hints here and there about major decisions coming up in my life. And in one video, I was even very transparent about my visa coming to an end soon and having to decide what my next steps were going to be. And I believe I shared like 3 next step options with you all, which were to apply for jobs here in the UK and stay in the UK, move to another country in Europe or somewhere else in the world, and then finally move back to the US. And y'all, I can honestly say that not even 6 months ago did I have a decision made. I didn't know what I wanted to do until the beginning of this year. So I left for my Ghana trip the day after Christmas and was there through New Year's and ended up coming back to London the first week of January. And for some reason, y'all, when I returned from Ghana, I just had this like overwhelming feeling, this overwhelming gut feeling. After this mental battle, going back and forth with myself, I just finally knew. I knew that it was time to go home. And honestly, y'all, it's still so weird for me to even say it out loud. And it's even weirder to be saying it on camera because I've kept this to myself and within my like inner circle and friend group. So it feels like even more real now saying it on camera and knowing that I am going to be sharing it with all of you. I can still so vividly remember my first day arriving here in London after moving abroad. It was January 6, 2019. I think I actually left Chicago on January 5th and it was like an overnight flight, and I got here the morning of January 6th. And I was just so excited, y'all. So excited, so optimistic. It was probably like the most excited I have felt about the future in my adult life, I have been feeling so stuck and complacent for years, in my life, in my career. So this was the first time that I was actually taking a real leap, taking a real risk, being bold enough to choose myself and to choose my happiness and make a real attempt to like create the life of my dreams, as I always say. I didn't know what was going to come of this experience, but I hadn't felt so sure about anything in such a long time. And now, over 4 years later, I can confidently look back and say that moving abroad to London has been the best decision that I have made in my life so far. I have been able to grow tremendously as a person, and I've learned so much about myself, and I'm still learning. I've been able to meet so many people from all over the world, all different walks of life, people that I just would have never encountered or crossed paths with if I had have stayed put where I was back at home. I was able to make my dreams come true and grow this YouTube thing way, way, way bigger than I could have ever imagined. And it has allowed me so many amazing and beautiful opportunities. Y'all, from getting selected for YouTube Black, being able to see my face on a billboard here in London, in the September issue of British Vogue, like, y'all, those were things that I could have never planned for, okay, when I decided to move here. I was on a Netflix reality dating show. Like, my episode is on Netflix right now if you want to go watch it. Like, I've been able to do so many cool things because of this one decision. I have been able to travel all throughout Europe, and before I leave here, I will hit my 40th country. Like, what a blessing. What a blessing. This experience has truly been more than I could have ever asked for or expected, and I'm just eternally grateful like for what these last few years in London have done for me. So making the decision to leave London has absolutely not been an easy one for me, as I'm sure you can imagine, especially since there was a point in time where I couldn't see myself anywhere else but here. However, since I turned 30 last year, I feel like so many things have just shifted in me, in my life. my priorities have shifted a bit. The things that I want for myself, my goals, my needs. I feel like I've mentioned this in a vlog before, but I'm really just craving more stability in my life, just feeling more settled. I really want to be closer to my parents and my family. My parents are getting older, you know. I honestly just feel like it's time for a new chapter, y'all. Like, I feel like a college senior, you know, after 4 years, it's time to graduate and move on with your life and do something different. That's how I feel. And this is so random, but I think it's still important to include. But I don't know how many of you are familiar with James Corden of the Late Night Show. I believe that's what it's called. But he does that carpool karaoke series, and I love watching those clips on YouTube of him in the car with different, you know, artists, and they're like singing their songs, and it's like an interview at the same time. It's cool. Anyways, but I saw one of his videos pop up, and it was like the final carpool karaoke with Adele, and I was watching it, and I feel like I was really late. I feel like I was probably the last person to find out. But he is leaving the show and leaving the US entirely to move back home with his family to the UK, because he's British, if you didn't know. So this just got me interested, and I decided to Google it, because I'm like, when did this happen? I had no idea. And I wonder what made him make the decision to like leave LA, where I'm sure he can get tons of work, you know, in his industry, you know, to come back here to the UK. So I was just doing my Googles, and I found an article, and there was a quote from him which I just felt like so connected to. It basically said something like, I always knew that living in the US was going to be an adventure, not the final destination. And I could not relate to that more, because I think I kind of just always knew deep down inside that I would eventually return back to the States. My family's there, y'all. That's the most important thing to me, you know, in this world. And it's funny because like even when I would be on like dating apps and stuff here, and just, you know, dating in London in general, one of the first questions I would always ask the guys would be, so how do you feel about living in the United States? But yeah, anyway, just like when I moved here back in 2019, I am feeling just as excited and optimistic about the future, and I want y'all to know that. This is not meant to be a sad video, even though I feel so many different emotions. Sometimes I'm just outside, you know, walking the streets of London, and tears just start to fall, you know, when I think about leaving. Because it is sad. Oh goodness. It is sad. It's sad. Like any chapter closing is sad, especially one that has meant so much to you. You know what I mean? One that has been so impactful on your life. But that doesn't mean that the chapter does not have to close. And it doesn't mean that the next chapter is not going to be just as beautiful. Because I know, y'all, I know if I could pull this off, if I could pull this off, I can go anywhere, okay? I can do anything. I feel like if living abroad has taught me anything, it's that I am not a tree. I am not stuck. I can move at any time. I can make this decision right now, and then I can change my mind and make a new decision next year if I choose to. I can keep trying out new places and new things and readjusting as many times as I see fit, because I refuse to let the fear of change and risk hold me back ever again. I don't know how many of you all know this, but I actually moved to London with the expectation that it might only be for 1 year. I think that's actually what I told my mom when I first, you know, pitched this idea of moving abroad to her. I'm like, I'm just gonna go do this 1 year master's program, and then I'll just come right back. And then now here we are over 4 years later. When I got here, I just fell in love with the city. I just fell in love with the experience and just how being here made me feel. So I really fought to stay here, y'all. I fought to get myself more time, you know, by applying for the UK startup visa and going through that application process and the interviews, and then, you know, applying for the COVID extension, and then going through another application interview process. Like right now, I am just feeling so blessed that I was able to make the decision to leave when I was good and ready. on my own terms, by my own decision. Because I know so many people, y'all. I've met so many friends here who had their time in London cut short for whatever reason. Some people were only able to come here and stay for a year. I know people who were not able to stay longer than 6 months because of COVID and other situations. And I will be able to say that I spent 4.5 amazing, challenging, but amazing, and also very rewarding years here. So yes, this may be the end of a chapter, y'all, but I promise you that I am only just getting started. But I do have a couple more months left here in London. So of course I plan to document the entire process of transitioning back to the US, from packing up and even shipping my things abroad, to crossing things off my last minute London bucket list. I even have a little Euro trip planned for next month. I also plan to be very honest and transparent about my feelings throughout the process. Y'all see I already got a little bit emotional in the video because this is an emotional thing. I mean, it just is. So I'm definitely going to let you all in on like every aspect of this. And of course, I would also love to continue to document my journey after I return back to the US. And I already know there's gonna be so many new and exciting things to come. So I hope you'll stay tuned. And I think that's it, y'all. So much more to come. So much more to come. Woo, I made it through, y'all. I made it through this video. But as always, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video and this big announcement, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.